Now, it's the most common form of chronic pain in the UK. Backache affects more than 6 million people every single year.
Oh, and if you're one of those, mea culpa, struggling, osteopath Nadia Alibhai is joining us for her advice.
I didn't know you struggled with it.
Oh, man, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, babe.
Just keep... No, don't stop that. It's really nice.
Nadia, what can you do for our D?
Well, we need to get him in very soon, don't we? We're going to make it happen.
We are, yeah.
Making it happen. But,
so, 60% of adults experience back pain at some point.
Why is it happening?
I feel a lot of it is the way... There's a lot of sitting. There's so much sitting, screen times. Sometimes it's from lifting something heavy. Sleeping positions, not having a mattress that's firm enough or supportive enough. So people end up waking up with back pain, or they spend the day with back pain.
Is it quite often, if you like parts of your body, like your core, aren't strong enough, then you overcompensate somewhere else, and then that's where the issue...
Absolutely, and also if you think about the core, if that isn't strong, it's not going to support your lower back as well. So the core helps, almost like a corset, to support the lower back. So when you're moving, it keeps it supported. People with a very weak core, they struggle a lot more.
So what are the main types of back pain? Because obviously some of it can just be you can sort out within the session and then, you know, see people again in 6 months or something, whereas some stuff is pretty chronic, I think.
Exactly. So there's the acute, which lasts for days to around a week, and then there's chronic back pain where people are, as you mentioned, struggling for a long period of time. And I find nowadays there's people as young as... I'm seeing children as young as 4 or 5, and it's a lot to do with the way they're sitting, the tablet usage, even reading books, but not sitting with good posture can do it. So there's so many reasons people are getting back pain.
So literally, could you just change your posture and automatically you're going to feel better in your back?
I find it makes a massive difference. So from going from a slouch posture to sitting better.
What's my posture? Is that bad?
Is that you sitting up?
So look, what you're doing right now, cross-legged, what you're doing is you're putting pressure on one hip. So if you go on to uncrossing and crossing at the ankles, you're better supported and you'll be sitting upright.
But I feel like a gentleman doing this, like Cary Grant or something.
Uncross your legs and see how you feel.
Like this. Now I feel like a child.
I like it. Look how much straighter you look.
I look like I'm 5 years old.
You look so good. No, you don't. You don't look good.
You could do
Own it, man. Own it.
I agree. Own it.
Own that.
Especially if you have back pain.
Yeah. OK, sorry.
We look so much better together when you sit up. Look.
That's why you like it, because we look so much better together when I sit up. It's got nothing to do with my back pain.
You make me look smaller.
Are there specific causes, do you think, Nadia, that make it more serious?
With regards to back pain, yes, as I mentioned, you know, the prolonged sitting doesn't help.
But when do you see... Sorry to interrupt, but when you see people that, like, come to you and they are genuinely... Like, you must be looking at them going, well, I'm not going to solve this in a session. Is that because of, like, chronic... Is that because of how someone's been sat for years, or...?
Yeah, and a lot of times it's how people have used their body over the years. If you have not been stretching it, strengthening it, lifting things incorrectly, having aches and pains and not really getting it looked at, a lot of times when that person walks in through the door, they know, as well as I explain to them, it may take a bit longer than that one session to get it right.
But unless they're not fixing that problem at source, they're going to come back and see you, right? So are you a big advocate of, I don't know, what, Pilates or...?
I'm big with regards to Pilates, yoga. Strengthening, to me, is really important, strengthening the posterior chain, because a lot of times we're here. So having the muscles at the back stronger lifts us and keeps us upright. And being in this sort of posture and strong, you're less likely to strain muscles.
Obviously, a lot of people are going on holiday, we're travelling.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know when you're packing, I can remember going from picking up the suitcase to my bed, I did my back in. Absolutely awful. Have you got any tips on when we're travelling and packing and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. And right now, this is where I'm getting a lot of people coming in with exactly this. First thing is if you're packing your suitcase and if you have an ache, don't put it on the floor so you're leaning down. Try and have it either on your bed. If you are carrying it downstairs, take that empty suitcase downstairs, take your clothes, have it at a raised surface, like a dining table, and then pack that way. If you're planning to kneel down and do it, have a cushion under your knees.
Great idea.
So what about when people are travelling? I mean, I was travelling back from Portugal a couple of weeks ago and we were in the airport supposed to take off at 7, ended up taking off at 12:30 in the evening. that's a long day for a lot of people.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of the aches can actually start at the airport from the long queues when you're doing the security check-ins. So one of my things is don't stand on one leg too long. Try and sway from side to side as opposed to just being static like a soldier. Once you get through the security checks, walk around duty-free, even if you're not buying anything, just window shopping, which I love to do.
Have a little walk.
Exactly, as opposed to sitting and starting that book that you wanted to read. Do it once you get onto the flight.
I actually do that anyway. I kind of dance from
I
side
sort
to
of
side.
move.
Yes.
Just to keep going.
And that's the way to do it.
And when you are, when you're up in the air, especially if you're long haul,
yeah.
and we all know sort of deep vein thrombosis and so forth, but for your back, I'd say that's equally as important, isn't it?
Exactly, because what happens at that point is there's a drop in cabin pressure, and when that happens, you get swelling of the joints, so that can make pains a lot worse. One of the things I do say, however, is when a lot of the injuries happen when people are putting their overhead luggage on top, so I say do that in a two-step process. First, put it onto the seat, and then put it overhead.
Lovely. You must just get so much joy when you actually cure someone.
I love it.
What is that like?
It's so fulfilling, and it makes you want to keep going. Like, I don't ever want to retire because I love what I do.
So for anyone at home watching and they're thinking, I've got so much back pain, what moves, what exercises can I do? Can you, like, talk us through some right now?
So, I mean, in particular, with someone who's on a flight, first thing is to get comfortable. And what I like to say with this is, you know, getting comfortable shoes. If you're on the flight, you can even kick off your shoes.
Yes.
And you'll want to start from head working down. So keeping moving through the flight, get comfortable. So I'll take this blazer off. And what you want to do is imagine where the headrest is. Start by pushing your head back into the headrest.
Say again.
Pushing your head back into the headrest, and that's going to help strengthen that area.
Yeah.
And then and you can hold that for about 10 seconds. After you've done that, working with turning your head, just getting that mobility going. Keep it slow, a few seconds on each side. If you have a cardigan or a jacket like I do, what you can do with something like this is just rolling it up, or if you're taking a lumbar support, you could take that, and having something like this and popping it in the part of your back that doesn't feel good. So if it's your lower back,
that's a good idea.
Pop it in there, and it just allows you to be a bit more supported. And then from here, you could do more stretches, so twisting against that, or even up in the air and side bending, side to side, and that really keeps the spine moving whilst you're on your flight.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
And what about, like, stretches? Like, would you advocate people stretching in the morning? Or, like, you know, I saw a physio lately, so don't worry too much about stretching. It's more about strengthening.
I think it's about a balance. So stretching really helps to elongate the muscles, strengthening helps to keep the support. So doing a bit of both, moving through the day is so important, because if you keep moving through the day, you're gently stretching those muscles anyway.
Yeah.
So keeping mobile, when you're on the flight, try and get off that seat, take as many loo breaks as you can, but if you're that passenger that doesn't want to keep annoying the person to your side, what you can do is, with the chair, you can take it back for a bit, be in that position, because even someone who can't get off their seat, being dynamic with their posture from leaning back to sitting up makes a massitive difference. Okay. So it's really about just keeping moving on that flight. Just some like mobility.
That's very good, by the way, Slinky Malinky. Got some questions here, Nadia, from Georgia. How can I improve my posture? I spend all day at my desk at home, which is really affecting my posture. Any exercises or tips that can help improve my posture? Right,
so one of my favourite ones for people that are working from home is getting off that seat every half an hour to an hour, potter around the house. Things like using the desk to do stretches, so holding onto the actual seat, leaning back, or even when you're sitting on the desk, holding and twisting. Those sorts of movements are really good, because when you're desk-based or working from home, most people tend to be here. It's more for flex position. So really working with extensions and rotations, but getting off that seat is so important.
Is it normal that you can open your legs, stretch down, and your back can crack out? Is that normal?
Sometimes.
That happens to me all the time.
And it happens to me. And are you hypermobile by any chance?
I think I am. Do you remember I can get my hands all the way over?
It's
a bit weird.
Right.
Is that what that is?
Yes, I'm quite hypermobile too. So, and all it is the release of air pressure.
Oh, right, because I really enjoy it.
I love it too, and it's almost it's like the way we burp. It's our back.
Is it good for you? Like,
it's nice to have the release. So if there's a lot of pressure that's holding joints together, sometimes you feel a bit stiff. When it releases, it just adds more mobility.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was wondering if I was the only person.
What's that? What do you do? You go like
that? So I open my legs when I'm standing up.
Yeah.
and then I stretch down, and my back will go and click out.
Oh, that sounds nice.
It's a lovely feeling. Jenny wants to know, I'm 65 years old, and I've noticed that my back pain has got substantially worse in the last few years. Is there a link between ageing and back pain? What can I do to make myself more active?
There is, and in particular with menopause, there's loss of calcium from the bone. So one of the things here is making sure we're supplementing, keeping strong, keeping mobile, going for walks. Any sort of weight resistance movement allows the calcium to go into the bone. So supplementing, a good diet and movement.
There you go.
Just lastly, Kerry, I struggle to get comfortable at night. I find myself tossing and turning, tend to find the most comfortable sleeping position to be on my front, but I'm worried this is affecting my back. Is there a correct way to sleep for your back?
So one of the best ways to sleep for your back is side lying, and in particular, they say the left. Getting a cushion, popping it between your knees. Now, there are people that are tummy sleepers, and if you can roll up a towel, pop it under your tummy. The only problem I find with tummy sleepers is if you have neck ache and then you're a tummy sleeper, when you wake up, you can end up feeling a bit worse. So side sleeping, cushion between your knees. You can also have a cushion to rest on your arm. And one extra tip, if you get a towel, roll it up, put it under your waist, so you have the supports in the main areas.
Or if you've got a significant other, you can put them
Put your
between
Lego,
knees.
yes, because I was going to
Those
say.
aren't pillows.
That's a great film. Nadia, thank you so much.
Thanks, Nadia.
Thanks for
Really
having me.
helpful.